And behind me. Oh! And I'm live. What's up, people? Jackson Galaxy here, live from the Cat Cave. That's right. Look at it. Downtown, God knows where, right behind the washer and the dryer. And we'll just pretend this is the extraordinary lounge. Over there, you can't see him, but that is my good friend, Oliver the Feral Cat. And we're here live, and we're going to have a good time today. We're going to take questions. We're going to throw a big party, and I am going to introduce you right now to Anne-Marie Avey, who is a.k.a. Slave Beast of the Lake Colonial. Good to see you.
Hello!
Whoa!
I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, you bet you
I'm
did.
the writer and owner of Colonel Meow. If you don't know him, check him out. He's a beast of a cat. Would love for you to understand where I'm coming from. Also, though, I'm here to facilitate. If you have questions, ask me. I will then present them to Jackson Galaxy, the amazing cat whisperer himself. But I'm also here to learn because I've got a lot of cat learning to do. So I'm really excited.
The questions, you're going to be like, wait, don't listen to that. I got a problem. Wait, now, besides that, you have your feral cat, Bella, your ex-feral, your what? Is that it? You got one?
Yeah, like she used to be a feral cat, but she's come a long way. But every once in a while, she gets like, you know, that crazy tick, I guess you could say. Every feral cat's got a little crazy tick in them. So that comes out every once in a while. But besides my cat, I want to make sure that we let everyone know that we have the Cat Mojo swag bag to give away today. So that means at the end of the show, anyone that's watching right now could be chosen to win. So stick around so we can get that out to you as soon as possible.
Now, I don't even know what's included in the swag bag, but I have some stuff sitting around here. I just happen to have some.
You have that book. There's that amazing book. That's really great. You've got some mugs in there, some Cat Daddy. Oh man.
Cat Daddy, baby. We got some Cat Daddy that'll be autographed. We got some cat in a hat, man. Actually, this hat, I dig this hat to death, man. We got this one. Now, of course, the one that you get will not have my sweat emblazoned on it.
Thank God.
We also have,
all right, Jackson, really quick, are there any updates that you want to tell everyone?
Updates. Well, we got the premiere of My Cat from Hell coming. Now, check your local listings, as the TV gods say, but we think April 26th, Saturday, April 26th, will be the premiere of Season 5 of My Cat from Hell, so please, and if you stay subscribed to our YouTube channel and all that, you'll get all that update because things have been changing, and I can't talk about that. Anyway, there's also, if you happen to be in the San Diego area, April 3rd is the Cats Uncaged tour, and that is me going to San Diego, and I believe I'm being hosted by San Diego Humane, and we're going to be doing a public event, and we're also going to be doing some closed shelter events. We have a lot of shelter people showing up in San Diego that day.
Awesome.
Again, yeah, just take a look at.
That was awesome. Cat Daddy with all his updates. Thank you.
You're
all
welcome.
right, so now we're going to go to a live Q&A session, which is with your cat problems out there. First up, we have Eric Fleck. Eric, welcome to the program.
What up, Eric?
Where are you at, buddy?
Unhide yourself, mister. Make yourself known.
There he is, the Beard Man. I love it. Cats and beard, great combination.
How are you, man?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Hi, Eric. How are you?
You gotta tell me where you are, Eric. Where are you?
I am on the Oregon coast.
Where on the Oregon coast?
Uh huh.
Cool. And are you in a warehouse at the moment?
No.
Eric,
actually,
there you are. Oh, now he's
one of my.
Gosh darn it, Eric! Are you alive?
No, she's here. He's here. I don't know what. Yeah. Anne-Marie, you're not here, but Eric is here.
Eric. Eric.
No, he's here, Anne-Marie.
Okay, good. Maybe there's too many people on the floor.
Yeah, you can't see him, but I can.
Good. Oh, great. Okay, great. Eric, what's your question?
Well, I had two, so I'll make them really quick. I just got done reading the book, and it's inspired me to want to do some volunteer work at a humane society. And you had mentioned in here you had mentioned in there compassion fatigue, and I'm one of these people that when I go into shelters, I usually come out bawling, and so I just want to know, do you have any advice about guarding yourself from having compassion fatigue?
That's an amazing question. I mean, it's almost impossible if you're a compassionate person not to have compassion fatigue at some point, because you are, trying to put yourself out there for these animals, and I can't lie to you, man. It's not easy. I mean, if you are committing yourself to their well-being with not having a guarantee that they will live, it's a really fine line. Like, you're building up your thick skin, and at the same time you're allowing them in, and it's tough. But here's the thing I can tell you: you just keep doing it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where, if
that's so true. Eric,
what'd you say?
I was just gonna say it's so true, Eric. Coming from a cat who just passed recently, I'm already thinking I know I'll get another one, because all they need is your love in life, and if that's all that you can give them, it's so worth it. You were meant to be in their life.
And
so
I mean, the
one
thing
at
is
a
that,
time.
if you're working in a shelter, Eric, like I said, when I worked there for 10 years, I left, I came back a year later, and it ripped my guts out. And it's just because if you're not using your shelter muscles, you know what I mean? They atrophy. And I really think, that if you just keep going, and also remember, you're there for them in that moment, and that doesn't necessarily mean you have to take them home, and it doesn't mean that you're the only one who can give them a good life. I think that one of the things that got me through the whole thing was knowing that there are people out there who will give just as good a life to this animal as I could, and then we're trying to hook those people together with those cats. But these guys bank on you for enrichment, and the only way that we can give them that enrichment is holy. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's one of those things that you can give.
Yeah, and it kind of seems like also too you use that as a fuel to that's the drive. That's the drive behind your passion to you are there. I just know there's not a lot out there about that talking about it.
I'm so glad that you pulled that concept out, because I think one of the things that we don't do is we don't give shelter workers and volunteers the immense amount of credit they deserve, because these are the people who are the last stop most of the time for these animals, and they're the only ones willing to put their necks out to really love these guys, knowing that they may lose them, and then we wonder why they get burned out, And the only way we can keep them from getting burned out is to make that unbelievable effort to stop the killing in the shelters to begin with, to stop the surrendering, to making sure that we're kicking up spay neuter. I mean, one of the things that I got to say is that everyone thinks that in order to make a difference in this movement, that you have to be in a shelter, and you don't. I mean, there's outreach programs galore. If you're great with kids, we need kids to know about spaying and neutering. We need their parents to know about it. We need people to just volunteer, intake at spay neuter clinics, or going out there and trapping and neutering ferals. There's so much that we can do. So that's another message to pass on, because Eric, I mean, I think one of the things that causes compassion fatigue is there's not enough of us. There's just not enough people out there, so the people that are putting themselves out there are burning out.
Exactly. Eric, keep going. We believe in that. Guys. Just keep going, taking your time. It'll be worth it in the end.
It will be, man.
Okay?
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
We appreciate it. All right, next up we have Tanya Ortiz on the line. Tanya Ortiz has a cat question. So excited, Tanya. Where are you at?
Yeah.
Tanya.
Press that magic button, Tanya.
Tanya.
Okay, you're still muted, Tanya.
Can you
there you go.
There you are, Tanya.
What's up, Tanya?
How are you?
Go ahead, Tanya. What's your question?
Well, I had a very general question, really. It's about general facts about cat psychology, and also what can we do to help our cats to cope with stress, and what are the most common triggers for stress? Because a lot of times we just think they're being all crazy, but maybe we're doing something that is bothering them or contributing to
Yeah.
stress. So that's
Well,
what
I
I
mean,
wanted to know.
Tanya, the stress for cats comes from a couple of different places. And let me just time out here because all I'm saying is that this is the way that most cats are. This is like that big cat, and then we just sort of filter it down to your cat. And in my experience, the first thing you got is territorial stress. If they feel like something is making their territory smaller, they are going to go like this to make it bigger again. It's like, oh my God, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, right? That's that when you add someone into the house, when a baby is born, when a new boyfriend is coming on the scene, when a new girlfriend's coming on the scene, when something changes in the house, that territorial stress can be manifested. The second way that cats manifest stress is like you were just alluding to, energetically. I mean, they're energetic sponges. So when there is like discord and going on in your house, they absorb it and they push it right back out there again. Cats are well, actually all animals are so unique in that sense because they don't have language, meaning words. So much of
Exactly.
it is just processing energy and throwing it back out again. I mean, think about what we would be like if we didn't have this common language right now, if we didn't have English, right? If we didn't have English and you and I are just sitting there staring at each other, like, what would we do? Like, what would our faces do? How would we communicate certain emotions to one another? Animals are picking up all of that, all of what I call the subtext, the underneath. And if there, like I said, if there's discord in the house, there will be discord with the animals for sure.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's just so common that we usually find ourselves in different situations. Probably we didn't want them, but they're just there, and suddenly we don't know how to react. And how can we help them to feel more soothed? And how can we help them to be more relaxed, or to bring back the normality, or things to speed up that process? Getting them to be calm again, getting
Well,
them to
one of the
be
things, like, when I'm
yeah.
saying that the cats are, express stress territorially, give them more territory. I mean, I know I sound like a broken record when I say, hey, give them height, make sure that you're building shelves, you're allowing them up. But that's just another way of saying give them room to breathe. Cats will love you on their terms. Cats will come to
Exactly.
you, and you are
Yeah.
fully aware of that. I can tell.
Yeah.
Um, but um, but
Jackson, do those calming sprays work at all or anything like that, or is that not a good way to
well, I mean,
go?
it's always part of the solution. Now I have my own line of flower essence remedies, spirit essences in the house. Great stuff, and I use it as a complementary modality. So, we're going to be working behavior approaches at the same time. Flower essence remedies have been around since the mid 1900s, and they work. It's the same way with other modalities like acupuncture work. Biofeedback works. I mean, there's so much. Cranial sacral therapy works, but it has to be done in conjunction with more, I guess, pointed methods as well.
And Tanya, where are you from today? Where are you calling in
Oh,
from?
I'm calling from El Salvador,
El
in Central
Salvador.
America.
Oh,
Yeah, so
how
I'm
cool is
actually
that?
That
How
is
cool is
so
that?
I'm actually in my clinic here. I'm a nutritionist, so I have some spare time, so I thought it would be
That is
very cool
fantastic,
idea.
man. I didn't
that's
even know.
amazing.
I didn't even
Yeah, you
know.
have fans all over here. You really do.
Really?
And
Yeah, this
sorry for
morning
being
I was just giving an interview with, let's see, this morning was Colombia and
late.
Mexico, and I know that the show in Brazil and Argentina. I just didn't know El Salvador, man. I'm psyched as hell. That's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. I have a lot of fans here, a lot of cat people who love your show, and
Oh,
I've
thank
been
you.
following your hangouts for a while. And thanks to that, being able to bond better with a cat, It's really great, so I
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
so much. That's so cool. It's good to see you.
Thank you, you too.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Tanya. So lovely to have you.
Thank you.
All right, so the next up we have Sasha Oates. Sasha Oates in the building. Sasha, we were wondering, what is your question for Jackson? Is Sasha Oates around?
Tell Sasha I'm bored. Tell Sasha. Hurry up, Sasha.
Sasha's here.
I'm gonna fall asleep, Sasha.
Cat talk.
If I had sort of intermission music I could play right now. And
That's all right. I mean, I'll just make scratch noises like my cat does.
I know, right? We should have a little DJ. We should have like a little cat DJ around here somewhere. Now I'm still
you know what I do have? I have a question while we're waiting for Sasha from Paige Hansen from the YouTube. She asks, what inspired you to go vegan, and what would you see yourself doing as a career if you didn't work with cats?
Well, what inspired me to go vegan was, when I started writing the epilogue to my book, Cat Daddy, what I was starting to say to everybody was, if you care about the cat in your life, you owe it to that cat to expand your circle of compassion out just that much, and to love all cats. And if you love all cats, you'll take action on behalf of all cats. And I was talking about how much I loved all animals. And it then stands to reason that if I love all animals, I ain't going to eat them, and if I love all animals, I won't support an industry that wants to treat them as crappy as the food industry wants to treat animals. And I needed to be able to walk the walk a little bit. So it wasn't a big deal. And to be honest with you, going vegan was the number one healthy thing I've ever done for my body and my life. And there's something about living a compassionate life that resonates with me, and I'm really happy to have done it. What was the other part of that question? Oh, if I could see myself doing anything else?
Yeah.
Rock and roll, man. That's all I know how to do. I know how to work with animals, and I know how to play music, and that's it, man. I mean, it's amazing because you know what the funny thing is? The funny thing is that people assume because I did this that I'm a failed rock and roll musician. I've seen that more times than I can freaking count. I didn't fail, people. I just, didn't succeed. But I did not fail. And sooner or later you'll see there will be music available to you at some point in the near future. But yes, long story short, when I was a kid, I only ever wanted to be a couple of things. I wanted to be a construction worker so I could sit on a big beam and eat my lunch. I wanted to be a tap dancer because I wanted to make clicky sounds with my shoes, and then I wanted to be a rock star. Those are the other things I ever wanted to be. Now you know the whole story.
Well, I'm waiting for a cat rock song. Like Kitty in the City, something like that. I'm waiting.
In the City. Yeah. You write it and I'll sing it. How about that?
Okay.
Could it connect with Is it Sasha?
Yes.
Sasha,
can you hear me?
What happened to you, Sasha? Sasha, it's like tomorrow already.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Roseville, California, which, if people don't know, is near Sacramento, California.
Oh, cool. And what's your cat's name?
Zelda. Do you want to see her?
Zelda. I love looking at a cat, so yeah, please show us to everyone.
I love looking at a cat.
Right there.
Zelda.
Zelda. Awesome. Well, Sasha, what's your question for Jackson?
Zelda's looking at the TV screen like it is about to eat her head.
She has no idea about this. She's never seen a webcam work.
Look on her eyes right now. Zelda, it's okay, baby. It's okay. We're not going to hurt you. We're not going to hurt you.
All right, Zelda.
Oh, she's just curious.
Zelda, but Sasha, what's your question for Jackson?
Okay, so I have a question about food. And if she will get out of the camera. Hi. Yes, okay. What do you believe is the best sort of food for a cat? What's your opinion on raw diet? And
sorry,
what
sorry.
about
Anne-Marie just about peed herself just there. I think her dog freaked out. Sorry. So,
yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, that was really funny.
And what's your opinion on raw diets, and what about people who can't feed like those raw diets because they're immune compromised? Because, like, for instance, I'm on steroid medication, I can't. So my doctor said no, no, no.
What, huh? You can't feed raw food because you're on steroids? That makes no sense. Seriously, that's one of those things that you gotta, if someone says that to you, I'm fine, man. I am more than willing to be proven wrong at any time. Not happily, but I will be. But in the meantime, your doctor says something like that to you, you double check, man. You do some due diligence on that one, because that's weird. Now,
Okay.
because, I mean, seriously, Zelda should be on raw food. Raw food is the way to go. Let's talk about it for a little bit. Zelda's like, yeah, man, I want some meat. Look at that face.
Well,
Yeah,
she's
Zelda's
got a good
superstar.
canned food that's 98% meat,
Well, good.
so
Good
she
for
likes
you.
that.
So you obviously know what cats need. Cats need meat. They're obligate carnivores. All this stuff that you're getting in a lot of the dry foods especially are just so nasty for cats. And you know, what we want to do is we want to feed them as much meat as we possibly can. So you're obviously doing the right thing. If you're feeding a grain-free wet diet, you are halfway there. In terms of raw, now, I mean, I am a massive fan of the raw diet, and I've seen cats, you know, get onto a raw diet and not only thrive physically, but they actually thrive behaviorally. There's something about what happens to that raw cat mentality, right, where they just like all of the thousands of years come bubbling forward, and they're like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever had. And,
Yeah, we tried
right?
raw, and she loved it.
Yeah, man. So just remember that you can get, by the way, at this point, you can get complete raw diet patties, right? You can get this thing. There is everything you need, from the nutrients to the meat itself to the bone to whatever else is in there. And then you defrost a part of it, you feed her, you know, and you keep the rest in the fridge. So this whole thing with the steroid meds, man, you wear gloves, you got no problems. Just remember one thing. Go ahead.
My doctor was saying that because the bacteria from like raw meats can hang out in the cat itself, and because she's so obviously kind of physically affectionate, like that it could prevent, it could pose a possible contamination to me, like salmonella or something.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, I just would, again, it's about due diligence, man, because I'm not going to be the one to say, your doctor's full of it, and then tomorrow you're gonna call me up and your face will be this big and whatever, you know. I mean, you know.
Sasha, I just want to be clear. You're on steroids, not your cat, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
No, because Zelda. No. But I just don't know how
even bigger.
No.
Yeah, right.
Wrong type of
I don't know how long that bacteria lives. I mean, that's the thing. It doesn't feel like it could live that long. But again, I mean, I think that's something. I think it's hilarious that we're worried about the fact it's not about you handling the meat, and it's not about like the bacteria hanging out in the air. We're actually worried that like if Zelda burps on you or licks you, that you're going to get sick that way. And just when you think you've heard everything. Anyway, due diligence.
I know.
Okay. So, wait, tell me how old she is. How old is she?
She's almost 2 years old.
Okay. And how'd you get her?
We adopted her. Her mom was abandoned on the side of the road and was pregnant, I guess. So we adopted her from the shelter when she was about 3.5 months old.
Right on. Right. Is she your only cat?
Yeah, the apartment doesn't like more than one.
Oh, well.
You know, apartment rules.
Yeah.
California.
And I listened to them not one time. Oh, no, I didn't say that. Anyhow. Yeah. See, here I am. I'm telling you to go against your doctor, against your landlord. Be a rebel. Be a rebel.
I'm always a rebel.
Sounds good.
You're the cat doctor.
Who, me or her? Yeah, no. I'm just telling you. Yeah,
All
just
right.
Absolutely. Feed raw if you can is a great way to go.
Thank you
Okay,
so
cool.
much, Sasha. Bye,
Thank you,
Zelda.
Sasha.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks.
Snuggle for me. All right, so then next up we have a question from one of the online viewers right now, and this is a really funny question because I did this when I was younger, but it says that it's okay to trim your cat's whiskers and eyelashes when they get too long. That is from Tanya Flores.
Tanya, get a hobby. If you are watching your cat's eyelashes and whiskers grow to the point where you're like, I should maybe trim them, you got to get out of the house. You got to there is a little something. Wait, hold on, time out. Anne-Marie, did you trim your cat's eyelashes?
Yeah, when I was younger.
I
Don't
was gonna
judge
say,
me.
as long as you
Don't
were.
judge me. It was just I needed to get out of the house, obviously. I should have gone play outside, but
Wait,
it
what'd
was
you say?
terrible. I had my cat Butterball, and I just would trim her whiskers every now and again for fun, and it was terrible.
And how old were you?
I was like 5.
Fine. At 5, I give you all the leeway. If whoever asked that question, if you're 27, get out of the house. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
So it's not a good idea, right?
No, it is. It is most assuredly not a good idea. I mean, there's a reason for every part of a cat. I mean, now, granted, that doesn't mean you shouldn't trim your cat's claws, but their whiskers and their eyelashes, yeah.
That's
No.
doesn't it help with their balance or something?
Yes, it does.
Okay, yeah.
Whiskers have a lot of functions. Balance, one of them. The other thing is that when cats are going into a tight space, they will use their whiskers to judge how much space they have to pass, right? So there's that. Also, cat whiskers can actually help cats tell temperature. Yeah.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Well, now
Like
you.
what? Oh, it's cold out today.
I was kind of hoping you wouldn't ask. I was kind of hoping you wouldn't ask, and then I would be like, temperature. Next question. No, it's. No, I mean, can cats tell temperature from the whiskers? Yeah, I mean, it's something, Anne-Marie. It's something. Look it up.
All right, fine. Well, next up we have Angie Fadness. Angie is here with us today to ask Jackson a question. Angie, where are you from? Are you with us? Where are you from today?
What's up, Angie?
Hi, I'm in Madison, Wisconsin, so where it's very cold.
Love
Welcome.
Madison.
And what's your cat's name, Angie?
His name is Wookie.
Wookie. Well, that's a great cat name. Angie, go ahead. What's your question for Jackson?
Well, I had a question. Wookie is 15, so he's a senior. He's a senior boy, and it seems to have coincided with daylight savings time, but he has started to have a little bit of separation anxiety when I go to work, just like simple things. It's not like when I'm gone for a long time, but anytime I get my keys or I'm getting ready to leave, he knows my routine, and he comes to the door, and sometimes even when I come home, he will be meowing at the door even though it's not time for food, because he gets fed like in the morning and at night. And I have talked to my vet about it, and everything else seems normal. He's using the litter box. He's eating normally. We play every day.
Good.
He's affectionate. He does his own thing. And I've done things like I have a bird feeder. I have things for him to do when I'm not here.
Beautiful.
But I was wondering if you had any other tips.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first thing is take a look at the Cat Mojo series on YouTube. Couple of weeks ago now, right at daylight savings time, I actually recorded an episode where I addressed that, where because cats define their lives by the sun itself, I mean, cats are like sundials, right? At certain parts of the day, they're going to be in certain places as the sun changes position. Remember, the raw cat, that cat that wakes up and says, I have to hunt, they are going to be active at dawn and dusk. Doesn't matter when the sun goes up and goes down, they'll be out there, But here's the crazy part. Because your circadian rhythm changes with daylight savings time, Now we've got a cat who's completely freaking confused because the son's saying one thing and you're saying something else altogether, right? So you guys were in concert just a few weeks ago, and now suddenly everything's out. When routine changes for a cat, they're not going to take it well. So you're going to see that sort of mismatch, and what your job is to keep that routine completely intact. You know, don't, if you acquiesce to him going, I need you to do something right now, and you're like, okay, fine, here you go, then you're keeping them off balance, right? Unfortunately, it's like jet lag, right? If you're in Paris yesterday and you're in Madison today, you're going to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning wanting lunch, and you've got to convince yourself it ain't lunchtime, it's the middle of the night, you know, keep sleeping. It's the same thing you're going to tell your cat. It's not time to eat right now. It'll be time when the sun starts going down. And that's how we set our clocks together. The other thing, in terms of separation anxiety, a quick little tip. We all tend to sort of do this a little bit. So the cat starts to exhibit separation anxiety. What do? You start doing this thing before you leave the house, right? Where you're like, honey, it's not a big deal. A little while, and it's not a big deal.
So true.
All the cat hears is, what the hell's going on? You know, what? It's a big deal. It's a big deal, right? That's all they hear. Blank, big deal. And you're treating them differently, which feeds into the fear itself. A couple of things you can do. Switch up your routine just a little bit in the morning. Your cat, if he has separation anxiety, knows what it means when you pick up your keys off the table, right? He knows what that means. He knows you're leaving, right? So you pick up your keys 5 minutes after you wake up and put them in your pocket. Then you hang out for an hour. Do you know what I mean? You feed him right before you leave, and the next day, right when you wake up. You make sure that you're keeping that schedule just a little bit off, so then when you go to leave, you can just leave and not make a big deal out of it. So one thing is, switch up schedule. Second thing is, don't make a big deal when you leave the house. Third thing is, give him a little something to do while you're leaving. So I know you were saying you have cat TV, you have birdhouses and stuff like that. Your best friend could be a puzzle toy. You know those little balls, right? You know, puzzle balls? Put a couple of treats in there. The only time he gets those kind of jackpot-y type treats is when it's in that puzzle ball. And then, with, you know, and again, you're switching this up 5 minutes before you leave, right when you leave, 10 minutes before, and you put out the ball, and he's playing with it, he's getting treats, and he's enjoying himself, and you're out the door. Don't say bye. I know that sounds weird. Don't say bye.
No,
Don't say, baby, I'll be back soon. None of that. Just walk out.
Makes sense, and I've been trying to do things like, you know, opening the coat closet like 2 hours before I leave, and like,
right on.
Things like that, turning on the light by the door. You know, I've been trying to mix that up a little bit, but I know that it's sometimes the person's fault, where I'm home quite a bit. It's not that I'm not home, but then it's like I don't want to get into this thing where I'm like, oh, is he alone and he's sad? It's like he sleeps so much. It's like he's probably sleeping.
Oh yeah, during the day he's most likely asleep. Or you know what's funny is we used to, I think the common wisdom was that cats slept 18 hours a day or some nonsense like that. It actually turns out that cats do one thing more than any other thing. Do you know what that thing is? I'm quizzing you. Tell me, what is the thing that cats do more than anything else?
Poop.
Like groom?
Did you just say poop? You were just looking for an excuse to say the word poop. That's
Always
what it
like
comes
to
down.
drop a bomb, Jackson.
No, look out the window. That's
Oh, really?
Okay, looking out the window, and that's what we thought. We thought it was sleep all the time. They will find something out there, but again, you put a bird feeder out there, which helps tremendously. People don't realize. I mean, I don't know about Madison, but here in California, we have a ton of hummingbirds, and if you put a hummingbird feeder outside your window, it is like game on for your cat. You know, there's such small things that we do that mean a world of difference to the cats, for sure. How many you got, by the way?
Well, I used to have 2, and now I just have 1. About 2 years ago, my other kitty, commonly kidney disease, many kitties get that. So I used to have my black kitty, Mr. Jones, but now I just have Wookie. And he adjusted pretty well to being a single cat. This is funny to me. Like, we've moved in the last, 3 months, and he adjusted really well to the apartment, and he adjusted to being a single cat. It seemed to coincide with daylight savings time. And I think we can work through it, but I just wanted some tips from you. So
Stable
Sister?
sameness, man. Keep things stable. Keep things the same. He will definitely adjust.
Cool. Thank you. I'm such a fan. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Angie.
Angie.
Thanks, Anne Marie.
Awesome. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. All right, so question from one of the people who are watching online right now. Her name's Teresa Reeves, and she asked, do you think indoor only cats should wear a collar even if they are chipped?
Here's the deal. Yeah. That's it. I'm done. No, I mean, I say yes. Even though, I mean, to be completely honest, my cats lose their collars more often than not. You know, some people feel like it's just, it's inhumane because they're indoors anyway. I am a paranoid Jewish grandmother. My thought is it's the cat equivalent of, honey, if you're in a car accident, you should have clean underwear on. If there is what, you've never heard that before?
No, I've never heard that before.
Well, you're obviously not Jewish, are you? Because
No,
in the
I'm
land
not
of Seinfeld and bagels, we say that to our kids. You should
Clean
always
undies.
make sure you have clean underwear because, yeah. But anyhow, in cat world, I mean, if there is a disaster, if there is an earthquake, if there is a flood, if there's a tornado, if there's something, and your house just blows apart, yes, it's fantastic if your cat is microchipped. Yes, it is crucial that your cat is microchipped. Why? Because if they lose their collar, then they're going to be found, right? But why make people search for that thing in the first place? They should have a collar and tag. It's just, to me, it's just common sense.
I actually heard somewhere that if someone has if a cat has a flea collar, it only protects their head from fleas, not really their whole body. Is that true?
Yeah, flea collars are a waste of time for them.
They're a waste of time. Don't even bother it. Just get a regular collar.
No, yeah, exactly. And in terms of flea medication, I mean, there's no substitute for, unfortunately, the chewables, the injectables, the rubbables, the actual flea medications. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, unfortunately, it's an unnecessary. It's a necessary evil.
Okay, well then I have a couple questions. I got a double question for you, so listen up. First, I have one from Jeanette, and she says, where can I get raw cat food if you're going to feed it? And then from Catherine, it's which raw meat to feed your cat? What raw meat do you use to feed your cat?
Okay, both good questions. Now, in terms of finding these complete meals, there's a lot of pet stores now that sell them, and you just have to do a little bit of due diligence again. Usually, I would find that the smaller kind of mom and pop type places will have the raw meat more often than the big chain stores. And basically, you just call around. And now, it's a common sight now to go into one of these small pet stores and they have rows and rows of freezers and fridges because they have all of that raw meat there. So there's a number of top-selling brands of raw meat. Not that I would recommend one over the other. Again, you do a little bit of research, you're going to figure out which one those good brands are. Remember that it's not enough to just go to the supermarket, buy a chicken, and feed it to your cat. That's not a complete meal. There are missing ingredients, like, for instance, taurine, that you will not find in just a chunk of meat that you get at the supermarket. That's why when these companies that make complete raw meat meals add things into it that are missing otherwise. And the other thing is, by the way, that it's not just meat that makes a complete diet for a cat. I'm a subscriber to the 90-10 ratio, 90% meat protein, bone, muscle, and the other 10% is what would be inside of the body of the prey that the cat ate, which is usually grasses and other simple carbs like that. So that's the breakdown. That's the way it should be. And these companies make it really easy for you. Not to say, though, that you can go to the supermarket, you can buy raw meat, and you can make it yourself. But when you do make it yourself, there are resources online that can help you, get your own home recipe and how to make the food. because it's not the simplest thing in the world. So you can go to catinfo.org, great website. You can go to Feline Nutrition, feline-nutrition. I don't know if it's .com or .org, but one of those. LittleBigCat.com. All these places are great resources for raw food feeding.
Okay, great. Say that again?
Oh, did I answer both?
Yeah, you did.
I blanked out.
Well, what meat do you feed your cat in particular? Did you answer that?
I feed a lot of different types of meat. It's basically whatever they want. So I mean,
surprise.
Well, yeah, exactly right. I mean, my cats have turned their nose up at a lot of different things. One of the hints I can give you, if you're feeding raw for the first time, first of all, there's not a cat alive that likes food out of the fridge. Remember, cats being hunters are used to, somewhere in the back of their head, they're used to eating meat that is at body temperature, right? Not fridge temperature. So warming up meat is actually a really good idea. And all I mean is like put it in the pan for 20, 30 seconds. Bring it up to about body temperature, about 100 degrees. And you're unlocking the aroma for the cat, and you're also giving them that experience. Remember, I'm a big subscriber to the hunt, catch, kill, eat. That is to say, you go through play therapy with your cat, you allow them to pretend to be hunting, catching, killing, and then what do? They eat. And what do we want them to eat? Raw meat, feed that hunter, right? And the way we do that is with body temperature meat. What? What's funny?
I'm just loving the whole cat feeding experience, the ambiance of dinner for the cat. I'm just loving that.
A candle
I
on
need
the
to light a
table,
candle, put on some nice music, a little fish on the TV or something.
It's a little
make it all romantic.
Right now. Just a little. Yeah, just a little.
All right, so I have another question here from Danielle Book, I believe you pronounce it. It says, "Hey Jackson, I'm currently in school to be a vet tech, but I would really like to get into the animal behavior field. What's the best way to get a foot in the door of this field?"
Great question. How would I know? I just lucked into it. No. Kidding. But I mean,
how did you get into this? What do you mean you lucked into it?
Because, well, yeah, if you want to call it luck, if you want to call it like an industry that isn't an industry and a job that's not a job until you make it a job, I mean, that's not, it wasn't the luckiest thing in the world. What's hilarious is that, growing up, I was like, Dad, I want to be a rock star. He's like, oh, God, you need something to fall back on. So I go to grad school for theater. He's like, no, you need something to fall back on. And I was like, all right, screw it then. I'll be a cat behaviorist. He's like, fine, I give up on you. Fine, you'll never. So anyway, if you wanted to get into the world of being a cat behaviorist, the thing that you want to do is spend as much time as you possibly can around cats. The way I got into it was I worked at an animal shelter for almost 10 years. You get undeniable education being around thousands of cats a year. You have this idea, you say to yourself, if I blink really slowly at a cat, I think it means they love me. Let me go try it out on 97 cats right now. And you go and you do that. And you get the answers that you need. There's a combination of passion, curiosity, and commitment. And you put those three things together, and you can do whatever you want to do. And I think that, I had the passion to save animals. I had the curiosity about how cats live their life. And I had enough dedication to stick with it. But I'm telling you, as we were talking to Eric in the first part of the show, if you spend any time in an animal shelter and you love animals, you will start doing whatever it is that you can do to save those lives. And for me, once the cats said to me, hey, we dig you, and what else you got to say? Because of that, you go, fine, man, if this means that these cats are not going to die today, let's go, And that's what I would recommend. Volunteer, get a job at the shelter, work part-time.
Are there schools? Are there schools for behaviorists? Like cat behaviorists? Is there like cat behaviorists?
You can be certified by a couple of different organizations, and that is, you just have to prove to them that you know what you're doing, and you become part of a resource board, and that's neither here nor there. There's also, you can be a veterinary behaviorist, so you can become a vet who specializes in animal behavior. Now, that said, I think there's only like 50 of them in the entire country. So there's not many. It's a pretty specialized field. But hey, listen, if you want a job, a veterinary behaviorist isn't a bad way to go. I just don't have the personal stamina to be a student to learn anything more in a classroom setting. I'm just not that guy, so I stuck to what I.
Okay, well, I have another question, and it's from Patty in Washington State. What up, Seattle?
What up?
That's what I wanted to say. What up? She wanted to say, I adopted a Manx from a shelter. She is now 6 months old, but I have MS, and there are some days when I'm not able to play the full 20 minutes twice a day. I feel horrible on those days. Any ideas, please?
Well, I mean, you know, it's funny because, and I think this is the curse of TV, is that you hear me say something over and over and over again, and you think that the only way to do it is to do it that one way, and that's not what we're looking to do. Hey, Toast, and and so sorry. Anyhow, that's like it's so funny because Toast is like the Alfred Hitchcock of this show because every time we're doing the show, all of a sudden there's her face and then she goes away. Anyhow, so what the hell were we talking about?
We're talking about
right, not playing
for
enough.
20 minutes. Maybe like a laser. Would a laser help so it's not like a ton of her moving? It's just like.
Here's the thing: if you have to conserve energy, for instance, a laser is great. It serves one purpose to me. And it's that to turn the engine over for a cat's motor, right? It gets them totally going. Of course, cats are about 50-50 when it comes to the lasers, but then once you turn that motor over, it's your job at that point to follow through and give them something they can pounce on and kill. The thing that, you know, lasers can be pretty frustrating because it can't catch it, right? So that said, there are other toys, and I call them self-activated toys. Self-activated toys are the ones where you press a button and they do something. I don't initially tell people to go out there and get those things because it makes you lazy. You know what I mean? It makes you kind of like, all right, I'll push a button instead of actually playing with my cat. And in this case, however, if it's something that you need to buffer your job as the play person or the you know, what is it, the slave beast. I mean, if that's your job. Then you got to make sure that it's attainable for you. So having a toy like, for instance, the undercover mouse or the fling-a-string or the bolt or toys like that you hit a button and boom, 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 they do their thing, sure, they'll keep them going for a little bit. And then make sure that you have that directed activity. If you can't do it for 20 minutes, 10 minutes is fine.
Right, and can't you just, like, have them play with the laser for 5 minutes because even though they can't catch it, it's pretty funny for us.
Yes, totally. If it comes to making sure that the time goes quickly for the human, laser's great. Where'd it go?
We have one more question, and it's from Jake Thompson 1, and he says, we've been thinking about getting a second cat. The trouble is that we live in rather a small one-bedroom apartment, but we both work full-time. Would getting a companion cat be a good idea for not so much given the lack of space?
Well, that's a lot.
Would it not be? Would it be a good idea or not a good idea?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, has your cat ever had access to another cat before? Does your cat like cats? That's one thing.
Does it matter on space though?
What do you mean?
They say that they have a one-bedroom small apartment. Does it matter if you have one or two cats in that size of a space?
No, not really. As long as you have, I mean, you know, again, not to sound like a broken record, but when you have a one-bedroom place and multiple cats, you just want to make sure you catify the house. You want to make sure that you build your cat superhighway, that you make sure you have shelving around the house, you know, bookcases, beds, and windowsills. As long as you make the territory bigger than just the floor, then you're creating a world where two cats can easily live. But make sure you're preparing for that. Before you bring home another cat, make sure your cat can get away from that second one. Make sure that your cat has options in terms of escape and getting around a room. I'm telling you, if you build that superhighway, go for it. You can get another cat.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to get 7 now, just because...
Yes.
I want to live in a world.
I put a shelf up in my house. I can have 7 cats. Yes.
Lucky 7.
Yes, why
All right.
not? I've got 6.
So now we're going to announce the winner of the cat swag bag.
Okay. How come
They
you have
were-
access to that? Why don't I have access to it? I want
I
to say
don't
the
know.
winner. There you go.
Get yourself together over there. Basically, this whoever's been watching, we randomly select a person to win this, and they've been paying attention the whole time. And the winner is, drum roll, Jose Tuya. Jose Tuya, he won, but he also have a question for you, Jackson, and it says, you are more than welcome to come to his wedding in I don't know where, in I believe Maryland. So you were invited to his wedding in Maryland if you want to go.
So that's so random.
It's June 2015. You have plenty of time. Clear your schedule.
Wow, man, that's impressive, Jose.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
He's on it.
That you're already putting out those save dates to, save the date, Jackson.
He knows you're busy with cats, and he wants to make sure that you scoot a little bit over for him too.
Time, man.
Jose, listen up. Go to Jackson, or all you have to do is email jacksongalaxyhangouts@gmail.com. So go and do that and send your name and your email and your address, and we'll send out that swag bag as soon as possible.
Woo!
Yes.
And tell me, Jose, if you want me to sign all your stuff to you or to your cat or to your dog, I don't discriminate.
To the cat.
Yeah.
Come on, Jose.
Yeah. So that's great.
Awesome.
We'll be doing more of that. And just to let you guys know again, if you're in the San Diego area, come down and see us April 3rd. That should be a good old time. And don't forget the premiere of My Cat from Hell coming very soon.
So exciting. Well, thank you, Jackson, for having me on.
Absolutely.
So thrilled. Check out Colonel Meow if you can. And we will see you next month. We'll be doing these every month at the end. So keep a lookout, and we'll make sure to let everyone know.
Yeah, and don't forget the next time we do the live from the Cat Cave, we will be doing it right around the premiere of My Cat from Hell. So there will be some special stuff to give away and talk about, and we'll make sure that we don't spoil the season, but we'll talk a little dirt about what's going on this season as well.
That's awesome. All right, you guys, make sure you go follow Animalists at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And you guys can keep the updates on the next Google Plus Hangout for sure.
And hey, folks, don't forget, soapbox time. Spay and neuter your animals. Tell every one of your friends to spay and neuter their animals. Adopt, don't shop. Make sure that while animals are dying, you don't go into a pet store ever, ever, ever. And take care of all of your cats, all of your neighbors' cats, all of your neighborhood's cats. Just make sure everybody's well fed and cared for and sees a vet. Love you guys. That's all I have to say.
Bye, you guys. Thank you.
Light love.
Love.